Now, once we have understood that behaviors can be modified by the managers in the organization with the use of some consequence which is given to the employee. Now, in this also, it is believed that the employee's behavior is dependent upon what he gets from the environment. So his behavior can be modified by giving him something which he likes, or taking away something which he likes, or giving him something which he dislikes, or taking away something which he dislikes. Okay. But when you talk about social learning theory, it's a different view of how people learn behaviors. Now, this is kind of drawn from an experiment which was done on small kids. And here, what they did was, I will briefly explain the experiment also, that there were small kindergarten kids. They were kept in two different rooms. And in one room, they would expose the children to cartoons and movies which were quite violent in nature. And on the other hand, in the other room, they would expose those kids with uh, videos and cartoons which were quite pleasant, and they would show characters which are quite loving and caring to each other. Okay. Now, when this went on for about a week, after that, those kids in those two different rooms, which had been exposed to different kind of a media, they were given some soft toys to play with. Okay, some kind of soft dolls and all. These kids, when they were playing with those dolls, they repeated those behaviors which they had seen in those cartoons and movies. So in a room where they had seen the violent behavior, they acted violently with those dolls. Okay, those soft dolls. They would push them, pull them, and bang them on the walls. While on the other hand, in the other room where they were exposed to videos with loving characters, they behaved lovingly with those soft toys. So the conclusion of the research was that people see what is happening in their environment, then they retain all those things, and whenever an opportunity comes, they repeat the same activity all over again. That is how people learn different behaviors. They learn behaviors from their environment, and that is why we are calling it as social learning theory. So according to this, employees, when they join an organization, they tend to pay attention about what's happening around them. How are other people behaving? How are their juniors behaving? How is their boss behaving? And whatever they see, by and by, they start copying the same thing. And that is how they learn those kind of behaviors. So this learning theory was given by Albert Bandura and is seen to explain a lot of behavior in the organizations, particularly the culture. Okay, how a culture is made in the organization, that people tend to have similar behaviors across departments, across divisions, across hierarchy. How does this happen? When new people join, they see what's happening around, and then they tend to follow it. Okay. In social learning theory, they say that there are 4 different steps to it. 4 different steps can be written as attention, retention, motor reproduction, and reinforcement. So whatever the behavior happens, employees pay attention to it. So it has to come to their attention, okay, that how is boss responding to the employees, or who is getting the promotion, the one who is doing favors for his boss, or the one who is working hard. Okay, so the attention has to be there, something which you like, right? Then that thing, it has to be there in your mind long enough so that you actually perform the same thing all over again. That becomes motor reproduction. And once you do it, for example, if you have seen that a colleague of yours who was kind of trying to flatter his boss, actually was the one who finally got the promotion. So you paid attention to the whole thing. Now it is there in your mind. You also try to flatter your boss. And if you also get the same result, for example, promotion, then that means you have received reinforcement for your activity. Now, this fact gets etched in your mind that if you have to get promotion, you have to flatter your boss. And that is how learning has taken place. So all those four steps have to be there. But if any of the step is missing, I mean, either you don't pay attention, things don't catch your attention, or you see it, but then you casually let it go, no retention, or you have it in mind, but still you don't want to flatter your boss, you just don't do that thing, then also the learning is not there in your mind. And if, let's say, you actually copy your colleague and flatter your boss, but then you don't get the promotion. So now you will start thinking, okay, there must be something else. It's not flattery which gets you the promotion. So because no reinforcement, and hence that learning could not take place. What learning? That flattery gets you promotion. But if all the four steps are taking place, social learning will also take place. So here the employee is learning, or people are learning by looking at their environments. And finally, the cognitive learning theory. Now, cognitive learning theory says that people are not always dependent upon their environment for learning. So if you pay attention to classical conditioning, you will see that there is a trainer and there is a learner. So there is somebody who's learning and somebody who is in the environment, who is interested in this learning and is paying some kind of a reward. Similarly, in operant conditioning, there is a learner and there is a trainer. There is a student or there's a teacher. There's an employee or a manager. Somebody in the environment who is modifying the behavior of people. In social learning theory, there is no trainer, there is no teacher, but the employee himself is vigilant. Employee himself is observant. And employee himself is paying attention and deciding what he wants to follow or he doesn't want to follow. But still, environment has a role to play. It plays an important role because the employee is learning whatever is there in the environment. If it is not there in the environment, then he will not learn. That is what social learning theory says. So, according to social learning theory, you can learn only what is there in the environment. But if, and this is a great if learning happens only by these three methods, it means that the humanity will never progress, that people will never progress. Why? Because if the student is dependent on the teacher to teach everything, then no student will become better than the teacher. If the student is dependent only on the teacher to get all the knowledge, that means he or she can get only the amount of knowledge which the teacher has. So if teacher doesn't know something, how will that teacher tell the student anything? The amount of knowledge which the teacher has, only that much knowledge can be transferred to the student. That means the next generation will never know more than the previous generation. And if this is true, then how are we progressing in different areas of life? If we are progressing in different areas of life, that means that the next generation knows more than the previous generation. That means that the students learn more than the teacher. And that also means that people go beyond the environment. Something which is not in the environment, still they are thinking about it. Still they can be creative about it. They can learn and think of things, even if there is no reward for it. How do they learn that? That happens cognitively. Cognition means ideas. Cognitive learning theory means learning by the processing of ideas. So people can learn not only by getting rewards, or getting punishments or by following others in their environment. They can learn on their own by processing of ideas, by reading, by thinking, by analyzing. If such kind of learning happens, then it will be known as cognitive learning. And the experiment which explains this was done by Kohler, Kohler. Kohler, what he did was that he, again, this was done on animals. So here we had chimpanzee. So there was a cage, and in the cage, there was a chimpanzee, right? And now in the same cage, there was a long stick lying there, and there were certain bananas which were there at the top of the cage. Okay, and then there was no one around the cage to give any idea to the chimpanzee or to give him any reward or punishment for doing anything. Nothing was given. Now when the chimpanzee feels hungry, he looks around, there's nothing to eat, he is in a cage, cannot go out, but when he looks up, he can see banana over there. Now chimpanzee wants to eat the banana but can't reach it because it is there at the top. Okay, now what happens is, after some thinking and whatever comes to his mind, he tries to pick up this stick and use the stick to get the banana. Now Kohler, who conducted this experiment, he said, how come this learning comes to chimpanzee that he can cover this distance between him and the banana by using this stick? How could this chimpanzee know? Was he trained? Was he given some kind of a reinforcement? How did this come to his mind? Did he see anybody around him using a stick to get what you want? No, nothing. It was just that the chimpanzee thought that, okay, if I can't reach it, maybe I can use the stick to reach the banana and get them. So how did this happen? This happened when he analyzed the whole thing in his own brain, with no help from a trainer, with no help from the environment, nothing. Okay, so this showed that yes, people can use their own brains also to learn new things, to know things, even if there is nobody to train them. It's not always about getting rewards or getting punishments or, copying somebody and then accordingly making your behavior. Some people can be very independent in their thinking. They might decide on their own what's right, what's wrong. They have deep analysis of what's happening around. They are observant and use their brains to come to their own conclusions. So this is about cognitive learning theory.